You're fired. That's what Apple has said to its Maps manager. We'll tell you about that and more right here, right now on the News Hub. Good morning and welcome. I'm Simon Constall. To tell us all about this Apple firing, we've got Eric Hesseldahl of All Things Digital.
Good morning.
Good morning. Not good morning if you're the Maps manager, though, because now you're looking for a job. This was reported by your colleague John Paczkowski.
Yep.
For All Things Digital.
Yep.
Great scoop.
Yep. So basically what happened, we all know that Apple had a big, one of its uncharacteristic misfires, although we'll get to why that isn't exactly true in a second. But this fellow, Williamson, I believe his name is, was let go. He was the one who was leading the
Rich Williamson.
Rich Williamson, thank you. Was let go by the new head of iOS, Eddie Q. And
that's his LinkedIn page.
Yeah, exactly. And so
needs updating, actually, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Someone clearly had to take the fall for this. This was a part of the iOS product and part of the experience. It just didn't work.
Maps didn't actually reflect what was on the ground.
Exactly.
Not even close. So yeah. I think, as maps go, they weren't very good.
Exactly. And so prior to this, Apple had relied upon a product that was derived from Google Maps, which is a much stronger. And what Apple is basically finding here is that building maps is hard. There are really only 3 good supplies of solid mapping data in the world. One of them is TeleAtlas, that's owned by TomTom. One of them is a company that used to be called Navteq, that's owned by Nokia, and Google itself. And Apple has been scooping up a handful of advanced mapping startups, but clearly they didn't have a lot of the meat and potatoes basic mapping data that you have to have.
Mapping is hard. That's why they employ cartographers. Now there was. Let's talk about other missteps. When the iPhone came out in this square version, this thin version, the antennae which is wrapped around it caused a number of problems, didn't it?
Yeah. What would happen is this is called the death grip, the iPhone death grip. This is when your hand would touch at the joints where the different parts of the antenna would join, and it would cause electrical disruptions and such. You would have what's technically called attenuation difficulties.
Your call would drop.
And of course, so Steve Jobs was famous for answering to somebody in an early email just as the thing was beginning to happen. So hold it different. You know, but
well, yeah. I mean, I think I joked on Digits one day, like you have to hold like this, but I mean, you don't if you have one of these covers on it.
Yeah.
So that was one of them, and then there's this outrage about the cord, right? The new cord that is going to go in the bottom of phones. People aren't happy about that because it looks just like a way to get people to buy more stuff.
Well, that's one thing. I mean, I'm sure that there was probably some legitimate hardware reason to actually change the way the thing charges and to get some new, more efficient manner. But also, what it's doing is it's forcing people to buy new chargers, but it's also forcing the people who make these wraparound cases to completely redo their designs, and they actually have to extend off the body or the bottom of the phone. I was talking to somebody who makes these the other day, and they're really struggling to try and figure out the right way to design these things without annoying their customers too much.
Well, and it's annoying your suppliers, which is almost as bad as annoying your customers, because one of the things, they are your partners, right? Your customers are important, but your partners are important too. Now, there were other things about the iPhone. When it first came out, you couldn't hold a call for very long. It was cool to have, but if you wanted to make a call, you had to have a different type of phone. There was the one that predated this. You will remember that.
Yeah, I do remember that. There was also the great mess up with MobileMe, the software internet service back there. Steve Jobs famously called the team together after it basically failed to deliver, and he looked everyone in the eye who was responsible for building it and said, "This should work. Why can't this work? You should all hate each other for not building a product that works." That's the Apple. That was the Apple way under Steve Jobs. I don't know if it's any different under Tim Cook, and I don't know if anybody got fired after the MobileMe mess up, but somebody certainly did after the Maps mess up.
But here's the thing, though. Here's what is absolutely amazing about Apple is that yes, they have these stumbles, but they soldier on. They just barrel through. They make the products better eventually, and then they work. And that, in some ways, is a testament to their doggedness, isn't it?
Apple learns from its mistakes. It has the resources and the wherewithal and the power and the simple will to get in and fix the product and make it incrementally better over time. But at the other time, the customers are incredibly forgiving. The hardware experience and the software experience is fundamentally still good. If these are marginal features okay, maps may be not marginal, but these are marginal features that some people may not even care about. They care more about the overall experience, and Apple still is the king of that.
They are very good. Well, thank you very much for coming in. Eric Hesseldahl of All Things Digital coming in at the crack of dawn for us, for you. How about that?